Oh, man.
How in the world did we lose Titan Esports Club before even hopping on into the game here? Unbelievable. 19 points, and they do not have anything from this game. But Gun Dynasty, on the other hand, they're going to go in here for the annihilation. But now punishing KD God and the super survivor, super reviver of the Gun Dynasty squad, looking for more. Well, Miss Shoto, who cracks it on in with the Valiant Dash, catching up with him, taken but now out with the Max 7.
Yeah, and he was the guy just, responsible to bring the team back into the game, and now he has to be brought in here. Now, Tag has an idea where exactly everyone is. Revoz decides to join in on the fight as well. Still waiting in the wings for the right, I think, opening, just really join in, but now on fire, finding Wolven already, and this offensive by Rasha could be nasty for the Falcons players.
Team Apex Gaming, all the blessings in the world. See, I told you, panel, we were going to bless them, not curse them. With all the blessings in the world, they get to avoid the initial encounter. We thought Falcons was going to be a little bit of a problem to deal with, but the White Tigers have dropped on in to say hello. You turning the table on them. Aim got taken out of the equation already. Apex, the electrotherapy is on connection, but unfortunately for the rest of the Falcons players, they will not be able to get out of this pinch. Shoto now tossing in the grenade. Can he find more? And it's just gonna be the ice grenade that gives him a little bit of an advantage here. What a knock on to Ray. Shoto, Team Apex Gaming not running away, staying and taking the fight straight to them.
And it started off with Tag with the ones that's on the lower.
Shoto!
Shoto putting the damage here. Rasha moving away.
One more!
And movement coming in. Rasha cannot run away with his life.
Yeah, chuck the India, baby. Shaljat though, knocked down. Shiru finding him from across. Can they get more? Gun Dynasty trying to take a little bit of a revenge here onto Team Apex Gaming. 2 players out of the equation already, but on the other side of things, TEC, it was the battle up against Paradox earlier, and Windy did a number on them, connected with the electrotherapy, was down, almost taken out, but he got the triple on them to knock them out of the lobby early.
That is almost surgical when you think about it, how they're moving around together as a team. Meanwhile, Tag already on 6 eliminations here. Wolven's now back into the game. All eyes are on GD here, as Falcons as well is in trouble. There we go, Pina now out.
Shout out to production. I love the fact that they caught us up with what happened to TEC in the earlier parts of the game, and it's great to see Africa stepping up their gameplay out there. But Team Apex Gaming, talk a little bit about some step up out there, baby. 7 eliminations already, and they're looking for more. Buriram finding the players on the side of DP. Madara straight down to the ground, taken out of the equation already. Get high, and Moshi looking for more. Top 16 though, has got the vending machine right behind him, but does he have the coins to bring back his buddies?
Now in this situation here, Jonas was barely alive, trying to stay here. But even then, look at his rotations. I think that for DP, the easiest way to move around this is just really stay alive and move away from the area.
Okay, to answer my own question, he did not have enough coins. But that's not going to be brought right back in. But the stealth bites helps him to reposition, catching up with Aswab. The players now looking to find a little bit of a reset. You will find Paradox, sniping down, snipe himself. Pun not intended. Windy gonna get the win knocked out of him. Pun definitely intended. And AGAL getting a number down on them. Paradox, can he continue to survive? And Benel is up to it again, continuously reviving the rest of his team members. He's pulling a Russia on the rest of the world here for the LATAM squad.
You know, I really am curious, like, toward the end of this tournament, how many Benel would have, revived, and would it be a world record to see how many he would be able to do so? Now, the rest of GD also back into the game as well. Look at this middle side of the map here. There's like, what, 4 teams hanging around there? Buram United, PDX, Aurora, even DRS somewhere close by, DP, AGAL. It's a cluster of fights.
Man, Azrael, wrong move there, but that was desperation for sure. Up against 2 players. Jumped on into the vehicle, but the VSK snaps it right out of it. And Aurora in a pinch. But maybe the interference of Buriram can help the Malaysian squad here. Alu now focusing on the players on the side of Buriram. Electrotherapy connected to the rest of his buddies. But if Alu gets taken out early here, DRS is going to be in a little bit of a pinch without their support player. But Pratik is in a great position with the Car 98. Should be able to have a tad bit of an advantage here, but the angle's just not working out for them. DRS wants to reposition. And thankfully, Buriram is actually not going in for the hunt. They're looking to reposition and find a safer haven for themselves instead.
Yeah, Buriram United always like to prioritize surviving super early as well. AGL Cypher does get one over on the other end. Got me a bit nervous for Buriram United when I saw some shots coming toward them. I think Loud was really hot at their heels right then. But Buriram United, if they do move forward there, they will be running up against DP. Loud on the other end, just putting in damage toward the PDX and AGL players.
Again, shout out to the team in the back. The observers have been on fire. Thank you very much for making sure you guys catch all of the action out there, because it is hot on the lobby today. And like you said, we've got too many squads in this next circle, and that's exactly what Purgatory has been able to give us for quite a bit. Stroex and Rasya leading the eliminations, and Benel actually keeping up with them. With the damage out there, I mean, Benel, what a superstar. Super survivor, super rescuer, reviving the squad multiple times. Also one of the rushers of the squad, bringing in the numbers through eliminations for the LATAM squad. This is the best that we have seen out of them, and I feel like they're giving us the consistency that we usually look for. But Team Apex Gaming, great start. Can they continue against the champions of 2024? Falcons right in front of them, but Falcons are spread out. This is a big advantage for Team Apex Gaming.
Yeah, this is really great at just really finding its openings. And you can tell they're very hungry. They've been hot on the Falcons' tails for quite some time here. Even Shoto on fire right now. And the rest of TAG wants to collapse onto this fight. They've taken away the space, but Falcons has a little bit more space to prepare.
They gotta be careful here. They don't have information. They're rushing straight in. Team Apex Gaming needs to slow down the pacing here, get that info, and then play their positions well, because the flank on the side of Falcons might just be exactly what gives them the victory over Team Apex Gaming. And as requested, Team Apex Gaming says hasta la vista, putting a little bit of a distance between themselves and Falcons. Pina, a sliver of health on him, but no finisher just yet. The Mofo tagging them up, and India, they do give away their positions, but will win. Perfect Thompson play, knocking down on fire. Raja with the M590 looking for the revenge, but those glue walls played perfectly by India.
They kept him away. He wasn't able to follow. He cannot come in. And now the rest of TAG wants to go this fight. Here Raja is alone. In the corner. On fire's back in the game already. Rushes forward. Raja
boom, baby,
in the corner and taken down and out. Eliminated already here, but Falcons brings him back in quickly.
Yeah, boy, Shoto's on fire. And Team Apex Gaming right back in it, but they gotta make sure they finish what they started. Karora right out there. Pina with the support play. Wolvin knocked down already. And this is still trouble time. Team Apex Gaming, they've got the vending machine out here outside the circle. They need to clean up their act right here, right now. The eliminations are looking good, but Falcons are not going to get taken down that easy. Shoto with the flank. What a headshot. Shoto's on fire. And Team Apex Gaming will survive.
I love Shoto, how aggressive, how confident he was in taking up that space, knowing how exactly to play with the information and position he has.
What a recovery. The revives are on point as well. And Team Apex Gaming on Purgatory. We talked about them having a little bit of extra room to breathe. And with that extra bit of oxygen in their system, they are on fire. And Falcons now on the revival spree, but with 1,300 in his pockets. Double revival, no problems at all. Falcons, though, on a little bit of a reset. Buriram close to their compound. But I don't think the World Jams will be looking to take the fight up against them. Falcons scanning out their area with the Dinoculus, a counter Dinocular used here, potentially by either EVOS or Buriram. As the players on the side of DP slowly makes their way in, AGAL looking for that backstab. Not intentionally, they're gonna find one, but they're not gonna second guess their movements at all. They want to take DP out of the equation here before they take away their defensive spot as well.
I am curious to see how exactly the rotation is going to come in for TAG. They're so far away from everyone else, but this late rotation could potentially benefit them. Letting everyone take this fight early. Benel quick to find Alu here as well. One knockdown. Top 16 also almost following suit here. And AGL knowing this, quick reposition forward, and DRS, Takuri now knocked down.
Oh, Gun Dynasty coming across DRS. Wrong timing here for the Rail Soldiers, but Pratik and Stroex turning things around. And 590 takes down our swap. And this is AGL interfering, perfect timing. And DRS in a little bit of a pickle. Stroex, can you get away? Even if you do, can you get enough coins to play recovery? All alone now for the side of the Rail Soldiers. And Gun Dynasty under the crosshairs of Team Loud. The recovery is going to be close to impossible here for Gun Dynasty. If they pull it off somehow without Benel, It is going to be a miraculous run for sure.
Just really waiting things out right now. Kiroro is here with Falcons. They have like a nice, I think, off angle to play with, but not even close to get into that circle. You have to take this fight against EVOS, which is going to be so annoying. Even Strowex, look how far back he has to move away from the area just to survive.
A little bit of a slower pace. And scanning out 4 players on the side of EVOS as well. Good dinocular once again from the side of Falcons, but what can you do with that extra bit of information? You can't flank around too far off to the left and tank a lot of the damage, putting yourself out in the open. So Falcons are going to actually go in for a direct approach here. And clearly Abex, the M249X in hand, will not worry at all about losing his bullets. He can spray, barely needing to pray for Team Apex Gaming. I hope you've said your prayers already. You're coming close to one of the biggest dominators in the competition, who are not really on fire just yet. So maybe that's gonna be the blessing here. Shoto, Superman for the side of Team Apex Gaming, looking for the shutdown. Wasana, looking for those nades as well. And for the time being, the ice grenades tagging them up. But Buriram not going anywhere. They want to take this fight, and they're waiting for Team Apex Gaming to break down those glue walls so they can have an advantage.
And meanwhile, over on this side here, EVOS
Katie God!
The Falcons out of that circle. Pina finds this angle, puts the damage onto Aimgot, reposition, but hard to do anything as EVOS collapses onto the members of the Falcons. On fire, barely alive, one member knocked down as well. Moving together to see the double swings are too much to deal with.
Yeah, that's what I said, man. Falcons can get all the information they want off of the binoculars, but they were just in a rough spot positionally. Could not flank around to the left. EVOS would have sniped them out of the waters instantaneously, had to take a straightforward fight because of the damage of the circle, and EVOS just had the better position. The Rail Soldiers, on the other hand, just nowhere else to go. Gun Dynasty still alive and kicking with the 2 players. No revives possible for them, but they're now trying to play the placement points. AimGod looking for the reposition. Rastia tagged up already. Strowex single-handedly trying to take down as many players as possible from the side of EVOS, but the jig is up. The moment Gun Dynasty closes in on him, DRS might just be that extra point that Gun Dynasty needs.
Here comes Ray as well. Strowex taking a lot of damage already hanging in this corner. He's stuck here. Either you go down to the zone or you go out in the open and you crunch between 2 different teams. But he's not going to stop trying though. He spots Rasha, goes a bit too wide, and the rest of EVOS, they're just going to wait for him to come out in the open.
Yeah, he's got the mini launcher on his side. He can quickly reposition, but potential to be sniped out of the air is high here. Now the zone's going to catch up with him as well. He's probably not running the team boosters, and he's going to sustain a ton of damage off of that, but still playing it safe. One with Mother Nature, finding some cover right behind the tree. And this is so much the tree can do for you, buddy. The grenades are going to find the tags onto him, forcing him to use those medkits as well. One great wall, keeping the players of AJL and Buriram far away from each other. And the engagement between these 2 titans will not break out just yet.
AGL had taken a lot of, I think, players out here as well. Now EVOS just kind of moving around the zone right now, trying to see whether I can get some pickoffs, excuse me. They maybe can just stay away from these fights. Speaking of fights here, BRU up against AGAL. The only thing separating them is just this wall. Cypher does take a bit of damage here, but if anything, eventually, Dew will fall. It's going to be Apex with a great opening there.
Okay, a couple of grenades over the wall. Could be a big one, but Buriram calls for the Bolt Maker. Lightning Zone now is going to be that pressure for both AGAL as well as EVOS Divine. Loud going to be hopping on into the battle as well, but Waka eliminated from the equation before he can even make a play. And a counter Lightning Zone called upon Buriram as well. 2 teams with the Bolt Maker out there. EVOS Divine with a big brain play off of those monster trucks. Extra layer of defense here for them. You can blow it up, but you cannot touch them just yet.
Yeah, Nameless get knocked out here. Nasha goes for 2 even to the AGAL side. And now, Buriram United wants to go and stealing away the kills. No, it's Rasha that's able to secure every single elimination point. Now, the tension changes. Buriram United has to fight against EVOS Divine, and they're going to try and collapse forward.
A familiar situation here. Southeast Asia takes over Purgatory. And EVOS Divine up against Buriram United Esports. Can they go for a back-to-back booyah? or will Buriram ruin the party here for EVOS? Either way, EVOS will still stay at the top of the leaderboard. Looking at their consistency so far, Valiant Dash breaking down their own defenses, but Wasana doesn't pull away too much from that. Moshi with the M82B gets the knock. Ray still standing up close and personal up against Jonah, who gets the hop up off of the glue wall and finds Aim God right behind it. And Buriram looking for the finisher up against EVOS.
Yeah, Wasana just rushing forward here. Rasha here all alone. The shots going a bit too hard, but Moshi going huge here. And there we go. Buriram United getting that booyah. Amazing work. Jonah, movement god.
Never before the champion here at the Esports World Cup. Could this be the year for Buriram United Esports? We talked about how Russia was the super sniper on the side of EVOS. We saw the amazing plays from him, but we cannot forget the one and only Moshi, baby. I fell in love with the snipers because of this guy, and he is back. This is his meta. This is his time to shine once again, and he cleaned up the battlefield in the final sequence.
Honestly, every single one of these members for the teams, I think really stood out to me as well. But that final few picks coming from Moshi that's completely cleaned up house and turned the tides for this team. Personally, for me, I saw the pressure coming in toward EVOS Divide, and I thought they have high capabilities of turning around the tides.
Yeah.
But Buriram United, knowing this, did not give them that chance this time and completely decided to just completely collapse at the right timing.
Absolutely. Three-time world champs right there for a good reason. Mainly Jonah, who I think is the most decorated player on that stage as far as his career here in Free Fire Esports is concerned. And they are the ones who have everything on their side in terms of rotations, IQ plays, perhaps a couple of hiccups here and there, but nobody can take away the fact that they are definitely one of the favorites out here to cause a lot of trouble. But can they get all the way to the end? Because EWC hasn't really been very kind to the squad so far.
No, I completely agree with you. There are just so many times that I think the Southeast Asian talent, they always say Buriram United is going to be the one at the very top. They always start off very hot, I believe.
Yeah.
But then after a while, you start to see them waver a little bit. I'm wondering how this year would change for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, towards the end, it was more of a hunting game. The players just looking for those shots. And Moshi, as the sniper of the squad, just not holding back at all, right? Just taking the fight straight up to them. The M82B got a little bit of a bump recently on the OB update, and these guys are not doubting it at all in terms of usage. Now, we've got a few commercials to play. Tash and I will be right back with you after the panel catches up with you guys.
It's Yuso and we are live in Paris here in EWC 26 Free Fire stage. And right next to me, we have our two co-streamers who are so popular in Vietnam. Introduce to you, Backgao and Cyrus. Xin chào tất cả mọi người. Thì không biết là hiện tại là mình đang được ngồi đây sân khấu tại Pháp thì mọi người đang cảm giác như thế nào vậy ạ?
Xin chào tất cả các bạn nha. Rất là hồi hộp các bạn, mà không khí ở đây gọi là tuyệt vời và chưa bao giờ mà thấy một cái sân khấu mà lớn như thế này các bạn ơi. Mình không biết là áp lực của các tuyển thủ sẽ như thế nào nữa.
Sau đó thì cảm thấy như thế nào ạ?
Dạ em có thấy rất là vui ạ.
Vui thôi hả?
Dạ.
Mình bay rất là lâu tới đây mà chỉ thấy vui thôi hả?
Em cũng trải nghiệm được nhiều rồi.
Trải nghiệm được nhiều. Alright, overall the stage is really hype, big. They have never seen any stage like this. Very special to them in this Free Fire scenes. And overall, a very overwhelming feelings, happy when they're here in Paris to attend EWC 26 Free Fire. Okay, so I can see in the comment section thì không biết là từ nãy đến giờ mọi người theo dõi được hai trận đấu rồi. Thì không biết là cả Backgao và cả Sau đó cảm thấy là các bạn khán giả của mình comment như thế nào vậy? Mọi người có hưng phấn, có đang chờ đợi màn trình diễn của Team Secret của mình không ạ?
Wow, rất nhiều người ở Việt Nam và rất nhiều người khán giả hâm mộ của series WYZ đang trông chờ màn ra mắt của WYZ, và rất nhiều khán giả đang coi ở tất cả kênh sóng của Garena FreeFire Việt Nam đang rất bất ngờ bởi vì cái phong thái thi đấu của cái đội tuyển ở Latam hay là ở kể cả Mexico hoặc là Ấn Độ. Họ đánh giá thấp Brazil, nhưng năm nay Brazil trở lại khá là mạnh mẽ. Yes, so.
Cảm ơn bác Gấu ạ. Vậy thì Cyrus sẽ cảm thấy như thế nào về trong hai trận đấu vừa qua đi? Thì Cyrus đánh giá như thế nào? Bởi vì bảng A cũng sẽ là một cái bảng rất là căng thẳng so với bảng B của chúng ta.
Thì theo em thấy thì sau hai trận thi đấu thì em thấy cũng khá là khắc nghiệt. Nếu mà đội nào sẽ thi đấu mà gọi là xuống phong độ sẽ đội đó sẽ bị loại.
Chính xác là như vậy. So as we can see that of this coming tournament, here we have a lot of teams, Latam, India, and so many move on more. And very excited to see a huge circle of Free Fire all attending here to compete their best to get the champions at EWC 26. And overall, after 2 matches from Cyrus depends on him. Well, who got the weakness has to go down, obviously. And of course, I can see that everyone is really hyped, especially for Team Secret, as known as WAG from Vietnam, are also here to attend EWC 26. We'll attend the match in the Group B after this Group A end. Well, this is the end, and I love the energy of everyone here. Everyone looks so happy and very hyped for their favorite team, and I do hope you guys are also like that. Please continue to support your team.
Boy, we had to make sure we got away from some of our other analysts because I know they were hyped. The Buriram has finally showed up. They got that booyah, and this is what we were expecting out of the 3-time world champs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's champions against champions right now. One taking the global finals, one taking the EWC. So you would expect really fire gameplay out of that final game, out of the final match, final circle. AJL though, I mean, I think like we just looked away, and then the moment that we look back, they were out. So the final 2 teams, 4v4, it was just phenomenal. But I'm also looking forward to how Lao is going to recover right now, because I think they were pushed down a little bit too hard this time. And Brim United, after getting that booyah, they just catapulted themselves up.
Do you think they're going to be, especially for Loud, right? Do you think this is the next game? It's time for them to bounce back because we're seeing consistency once again out of Evos.
Yeah, I mean, Evos being a top 3 in 2 games or 3 games already is enough. Like, if you want to be in there, just an easier ticket to stage 3, then that's what they need right now. Compared to their Southeast Asia, right? And they always go for the longer route, the longer days, like even not skipping a day because they're there at the bottom going into elimination before the grand finals, before point rush. So I'm loving this version of Evo's Divine right now. Probably it's because of the crowd giving them more energy.
True, and this is the halfway point as well for Group A on day 1 of Free Fire at Esports World Cup 26. Now, out of all the squads, right, we're hyping up the squads that are doing good. Let's talk about some of the other squads that needed to improve on that 3rd game. And one of them that ended up improving, at least for my liking, had to be tagged. Boy, this squad was finally able to start putting up some eliminations on the board, and this is what we're expecting them. I know Lucifer in the back is expecting even more out of them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we were just talking about that earlier before the game started, and then we saw them perform. So it's a good thing as well that it only took them a couple of games before for their warm-up, before they will bring it on. Because being at the bottom 2 or almost at bottom 2, that's not a place that you want to be, even if you still have another day to play. So you don't want to risk it. At least bring yourself halfway to what is intended, and then that's when you play. If you don't like, that's when you gauge. If you really don't want to show that much performance, just go in there in the skirts of what is needed to get the next stage.
Yeah, and the good thing too, like going in regards to Evos, in regards to Buriram United, now that are starting to get all these points, right? One thing that is going good for this squad, yeah, they're performing well, they're being consistent, but they're just sponging up all those points at the top. And don't forget, once we finish tomorrow from Group A, the top 4 will be going to Champion Rush Finals. And the last 2 will be going home, and in between they'll be going to survival. But that sponge of points there from the top is kind of just making everything even tighter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's difficult for them to really catch up. Like because of the huge lead that you have right there, it's making it hard for the teams to really catch up, and it's also demeaning. at some point. Like you will see your team at the bottom trying and struggling that much to bring in the numbers, and then you see the top wherein you, even if you still have one day, but everyone is competitive at this point. You want to get closer and closer to where you're intended to be, to skip one day and just watch everyone play.
Yeah, and from this map that we just saw, Purgatory, remember, this is one that you were looking to see some crazy stuff. I gotta ask you, were you happy with what we saw there out of Purgatory, or do you want to see more madness?
Well, definitely more madness, more chaos with a K. Because Purgatory, like, I'm not giving that most of the opportunity for a skewed flight path, the like ruining for final circle, but at least the teams are treating it as if it's a skewed flight path. The early engagement that's happening, a lot of teams trying to go in and out for battle, and that's what makes it exciting because they're just playing it with the spirit of the map itself.
Yeah, and now going to the last 3 games here of Group A, right? Earlier we were talking about tag. We wanted to see them being able to step up. I know we have a team from Pakistan as well that, I mean, we want them to see step it up because they just have such a passionate fan base back at home. I want you to tell me a team that you're going to be looking at, especially this next 3 matches, to either continue to be consistent the way they have been, or that you might see some fluctuation on their performances.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see Paradox Gaming. Currently, they're at the bottom of the leaderboard right now, but at some point, we've seen the aggression as well from their regional. So it's something that they can bring to the table a little bit early this time instead of waiting for the second day. And also, some of the consistency that we've seen from DRS Gaming, because the Real Soldiers Gaming is one of those that we didn't expect really show up the first time in EWC, first time in global in terms of a Free Fire competitive scene, and they're really doing well. I don't know if this is the full extent of their performance or they're just still biding and waiting for the opportunity to bring the fire on.
I mean, they just gotta put themselves in that position where they can actually just claw at that booyah like BattleRoyale United Esports was able to do on that last one. Wasana was one of the players that I know Conchita really wanted to see them being able to step up in their performance and actually perform for their squad. Is there any player or any 2 players that in the next 3 matches you're gonna be keeping a close eye on because you want them to impact the game in a positive way for their team?
Yeah, one thing I'm really looking at, especially if Wasana is involved, you have Get High in there. Get High with a combination of Wasana would be really aggressive on their tip-top shape. And also Moshi in there, like staying in the back lines. Depending on the map though, if we go into a map wherein it's like favoring the snipers, we might see Moshi and Jonah pull away, try double sniper, or just get information in the early parts of the game, and then just leave the opportunity for Wasana as well as Get High to go for those elimination. And one signature that I keep seeing from BattleRoyale United is once they get that knock, they pull out the launch pad and jump straight into the battle.
We have a lot of viewers that might be watching Free Fire for their first time. If you are one of those viewers, please let us know on social media. Use that hashtag EWC. Use that hashtag EWC26. I want you to explain to the new viewers that are watching Free Fire for the first time about that launch pad, because I absolutely love it, as we're just being absolutely sidetracked here by a dancing... Is that a dancing bull or a dancing cow?
Dancing bull. And I love the energy.
Yes.
I really love the energy on the stage right now. And
that Fluxo? I can't tell.
Yeah, it is. It is,
right? I'm like, I have glasses on and I can't tell if it's like, you guys playing like three more games, okay? Your group is gonna be coming up. Hopefully you guys brought the drums, you brought that Brazilian energy, because we've seen it so far with Loud, but I know once we go into Group B, we wanna see Fluxo bring it.
Oh yeah, I mean, great potential for the team right now. And a great revenge storyline coming from them, because from what we've said, from what we've seen as well, there's a lot of disappointing run, and it was caused by these couple of champions that we have in front of us right now. So I love to see. It's a good thing as well that they're in a different group, because they won't have to meet them on the get-go.
They're just waiting to see each other on the finals or survival, which honestly, if you're Evos, if you're BattleRoyale, it's not gonna be looking like you're gonna be going to survival if they keep playing like this. Consistency, you might as well just put it in their middle name because these squads have been very consistent. But I think it's time we start the second half of Group A. Let's send it over to AJ Tash Bunny.
Honestly, insane seeing what's going on ground. We have so many people here. We have mascots on the ground as well. And we're already halfway through the first group.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm very sure that the fans out there are excited to see their teams perform out here on the battles. But it is definitely a big question mark for some of the squads, right? You look at Paradox Gaming, you look at how they're doing out there so far. I feel like the gunfights in Purgatory were so much better, but they're still having their first day jitters full on. I want to see a little bit of an improvement as we head on into this game number 4.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about, you know, you have how much space to really just warm up that engine, get yourself into the groove of the game. But as we go into the day, yes, 2 days, but already for Group A, we're halfway through. 3 more maps to go before they go on a break for the rest of the day and then come back tomorrow. But then again, playing catch-up against these teams is not going to be easy.
Locally, for Paradox, this is one of their better maps. So this could just be exactly what turns their fate around here on day 1. You don't really want to be depending on day 2 to find that recovery back into the competition. And you sure as hell don't want to be at the bottom 2 spots because that is straight up relegation tomorrow if that is where you're going to end the day on. But as we head on into game number 4, it's time for some Next Terra.
Next Terra is interesting. There's just so many different bits and bobs parts of this maps. Oh, how he's going to go. And on top of that as well, we are still seeing, I think, somewhat of a hot drop here. Looking here, we have PDX, I think, toward the Deca Square with another team. I'm not too sure. I can't really see who exactly is that. I believe it's DRS.
Russia leading the leaderboard right now with elimination. 16 points personally delivered by the Super Sniper, the Wonder Kid. Still the Wonder Kid. And I think nobody else is going to be taking away the title from him. No one else has shown the kind of determination, the kind of hunger, as well as the performance that Russia has shown us ever since he stepped onto a stage like this. But Loud, once again, looking to do exactly that as they play a little bit of Clash Squad up against Falcons.
There's a lot of things going on over there as well. You see On Fire reposition himself a little bit more further forward, keeping his head down here because there's a lot of pressure that they're putting onto him as well. His teammates aren't super close as well. So if anything, he's just buying a bit of time, but his teammates, I think, shouldn't be a problem to bring him back into the game if he does go down fairly early. But if anything, the best case scenario for Falcons, well, you steal away 1 more kill before you get knocked down here. But BCP is tracking him right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess it's not a full-on Clash Squad battle because Falcons, most of them out of this Rust Town area. The rotations are coming on through, and it looks like Loud wants that big flank to find the extra point off of the Falcon player. We'll catch up with them later on as Buriram spots out Demon's Pride, top 16, about to be tagged up. Jonah has got the M24 in hand, just no angles to work off of it just yet. Gun Dynasty, on the other hand, with a very early reset, at least pulling back 1 player back in here, and with a phenomenal flank On Fire finally taken out of position there. AGAL, 1 player down on the ground. The battle between them and Gun Dynasty does not end well here for Gun Dynasty. The recovery definitely needed once again, and Benel is on the case.
Yeah, in this situation here in AGL, they've always been so proactive with these early fights as well. Already 5 eliminations here. Saifa once more. Rahat is on the other end waiting as TEC already in such a precarious position, but his teammates able to be brought back into the game, but Nejat goes down to PDX.
Oh, Team Apex Gaming. Extra point for them, baby, if they can pick this up. Thrill of Battle popped perfectly, and a timely Thrill of Battle leads to Wolven picking up that extra point. But here comes Demon's Pride. They want the fight. They take this jump straight to the vending machine. Instant revival, but Madara sacrifices himself for that pick. Jazzy comes in for the save, picking up his buddy. No extra revivals needed. TAG, Team Apex Gaming, didn't finish those players off just yet. Catch a quick replay here in the middle of a very important battle for Team Apex Gaming. But it looks like they'll call for a little bit of a truce for the time being.
Yeah, just now, I think a lot of things are going on in that situation. I think they got cornered, if you ask me. Now, as we look at the main fight that's currently going here, TAG is still chasing the heck out of GP. Have Jazzy already knocked down as well. And I have to say, TAG doing a great job just cornering their prey, making sure that they can't reposition.
Almost got a little bit messy there. And obviously, the recovery was going to be important, and that's exactly what Team Apex Gaming finds for themselves. Buriram, they saw players step into the compound of the Indian squad just moments ago. And as I say that, Wolven takes him right off the board. Get IXL is there though, and it looks like Buriram's taking a full-on fight up against the Indian squad. Team Apex Gaming might be in a little bit of a trouble here. Katie God brings Wolven right back in off screen, and Loud spotting out Gun Dynasty, who is looking for the recovery in this game. I don't know if or not they're ready for the battle. One player from the side of TEC is going to be stuck in this compound as well. It's going to get messy for them if they can't find the recovery for themselves.
Yeah, UAV is out as well. Should give away the position.
Waka
tried to get that. I think he tried to just jump and see if he can get some info, but he got tagged. If anything, in this situation here, Kutush might be in trouble next. And I have to say, Benel doing a great job of marking every single enemy around the area. Nothing gets away from this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. They play the Moko really well. And he had the M82B and the SKS as well. Great attention from that long range and the advantage taken. And Katie God keeping the Indian squad still in the game with the double revive. Buriram trickled in one after the other, finding Team Apex Gaming. But the Indian squad could not take these giants out. 3-time world champs for a good reason. They're just ramping up very slowly here, not showing their aggressive side just yet, Buriram.
I can see how active the map is right now. Loud's getting a few pickoffs as well. I'm sure DRS as well, while everything has been going on here. In this situation, I think...
No, Katie God, just a wrong spot. Ran straight in at Buriram. No binoculars, no extra information out in the open. Just got spent. And now Falcons finding the players of Gun Dynasty. Gun Dynasty's just had a rough run in this lobby this time round. Nextera's just not their place. Limit will find one from afar. David 444 found as well. The players of Gun Dynasty flanked all around, and it's the Falcons swooping on in. The birds of prey looking for a meal. And Gun Dynasty is just that fill.
Yeah, and Shairu is stuck outside the zone as well. What are you going to do here? You have to find a different way into the area. And Falcons wants, they desperately really want that one extra point. It almost feels like they just are playing with a vengeance. Now, in this situation here, GD looking good with 6 points already. Shairu still managing to stay alive. And right now, if we were to look at the leaderboard here, EVOS has looking really good right now. They have a huge lead compared to the rest of the teams. And in terms of, I would say, positioning right now, they're looking, I think, fairly alive. If anything, throughout the entirety of this day, EVOS has been doing well in terms of positioning, in terms of looking for pickoffs, in terms of looking for fights as well. And I don't think this is going to change anytime soon.
Of course, Nextera has always given us a lot of eliminations thanks to the number of vending machines, compounds that you can use for cover, not having to use up all of your glue walls too early in the matchup. And we're going to see quite a number of survivors again. As I say that, the Rail Soldiers pulling in a double revive. Yet again, extra coins. Takuri making sure he brings back the 2 revives first. So great strategy played by him before he got caught out there. Unfortunate that he could not go in for that final revive. So 2 players down for the side of DRS once again.
AGL is really scary. If you think you managed to shake them off, they just really a false sense of security before finally being taken out. He's done his due diligence though. He brought his teammates back into the game, and I think bringing them back into the game poses a big threat to so many of these teams. Now, in this particular area where the Falcons was, you could see just now they were really looking for Jazzy. He's still very much alive, but they have to be very, very aware that Loud is close by somewhere in the wing. So this could potentially be a 2-way fight. Is looking really good right now.
Rough run for Demon's Pride. Yeah, Pride definitely taking a hit here on day 1. Still down at the very bottom of our leaderboard with just 10 points to their side. David 444 down on the ground. Instant pickup there, and the recovery is solid for Gun Dynasty. But they have been challenged all throughout this lobby. The only luck they have now is they're dealing with DRS, and they've got the numbers advantage in this battle as well.
Really trying to find this bounty as well as really settle it down as well as Alu. tries to put a little bit of space away from GD. If he's able to maybe isolate this fight, buy a bit of time, so Stroix will be able to give him a bit of, I would think, support. That'll be really good. Now, the Falcons finally ran toe-to-toe against Loud. BZP forced to move away here as the Falcons finally rally back. They have a nice high ground to play with. Over on the other side here, gonna cook up that nade, throw it forward, but I'm gonna think it's gonna be going a little bit too wide as BZP is just so quick on that reposition.
Yeah, that was a blind nade there. No Moko for the advantage. Good time turner for BZP. Has got the double barrel, but the Valiant Dash is bursting through him. Extra bit of confidence off of the electrotherapy that Cassie provided them. Limit those straight down to the ground. Recovery is not going to be impossible here, but they're going up against one of the best Brazilian squads. Loud can shut them down, and that's exactly what Nyx does. M10-14 perfection on fire taken down. Karoro shut down as well. Loud making a lot of noise, but Pina's there for the save. But the pickups have to be the focus here. And Falcons surviving this one. Guaca too far away to back up the rest of his brothers, and Falcons will survive because of that.
I am loving the fact that Falcons really doubled down on this, and then Denrick as well, just stuck in the corner, trying his best to survive. But Buram United, they're saying no, so as much as you want to survive, it's not going to happen. We will dig you out of that hole if we have to. Gets one more point to their name, and now they're going to go and find a different way into the area. This mid-side area in terms of rotations here, southern side, EVOS has control of that area. Toward the western side, you have PDX is sort of moving around the area. Northern side, Aurora, but middle side here, you have, I think, GD and AGL forward, and TAG just busting forward, looking for this fight eagerly.
Just with that game 3, Buriram has jumped into the top 3 already. Now you see the Moko tagging up the players on the side of Team Apex Gaming. This is a little bit of a pinch. AGL focus fire, but Team Apex Gaming very smartly repositioning, just staying away from the crosshairs of both AGL as well as Gun Dynasty. A sticky situation here for the Indian squad for sure.
But they're not really showing their hand either. They're just really hoping to weather down that storm, because no team can really get too close to one another for these forward fights. Pina, somewhere along the lines there, does find Stroix eventually. Alu running forward. They're almost taking down on fire, but regardless of that, would have been traded. So now the blue zone comes through here. Kiroro should be brought back into the game as Loud is slowly trying to recalibrate themselves.
Recalibrate indeed. The double revive coming on through. Full squad once again for the Brazilian squad. Loud have been loud from the start. Very consistent to keep themselves in the top 4. But they have to make sure they play a little bit of recovery here. And Nyx is going to have his foot shot off. A-Backs with a sharp shot from afar. AC-80 perfection once again. And yet again, the Brazilian squad on the back foot. This is just not their lobby. Recovery seems to be really difficult. And that's exactly what Nextera is. Lots of spots to hide away at. And we have got a ton of squads. So many players still alive and kicking as we approach the 12 minutes.
Yeah, Alu is not going to be able to hit the ground there. Gonna just get knocked down so quickly. His teammate did try to give a bit of pressure there onto Buram United. Not happening though. You know, like you mentioned, Moshi just so superb on the snipers.
Oh yeah. Buriram showing that, yes, we were ramping it up slow, but nothing impossible for us to catch up with. Russia though, right below the bridge like a troll, up against Falcons, but gonna get caught all alone here. On fire, making the rotation. Russia, can you survive this one? What kind of trickery will you show us? It's Gun Dynasty that takes advantage of that chaos! And the follow-up is solid. EVOS with the revenge. The players on the side of Paradox taking advantage of this situation as well. Denrique is going to get picked right back up. And Falcons off of that rotation put themselves under the bridge, losing 2 players in that sequence.
In this situation, EVOS as well, trying to take away this positioning coming in from Aurora, but cannot able to come close to them at all. And EVOS is very, very patient here, trying to find an opening, an angle, anything, but also aware that Loud is close by. One moment your head is out there in the open, it's going to be instantly popped, and that's how it is for both of these teams here. And it's sort of a momentary stalemate between these 3 teams. You have to worry about PDX as well. You also see that they're trying to rush away from the area as On Fire tries to put in the damage.
See if Not On Fire can get this catch up here. Quickly repositioning right under the robo. And it gives them a little bit of cover for the time being. The launch pad, I think they were looking for a little bit of a higher angle as DRS Gaming gets taken out of the equation. Locked down by the thrill of battle, and Falcons needs to quickly reposition. They do not want to get stuck in a fight without their active skills. Riptide Rhythm from afar. EVOS will play some shots, but it's Aurora that takes the advantage with that shot. The Malaysian squad slowly sneaking their way back in here. Locked down once again by the thrill of battle. Potentially out of the Brazilian squad this time round. Grenade, what a tight angle, played perfectly there. But Loud up against EVOS, that's going to be the appointment that they have to go through first before catching up with the Malaysians.
This is insane high-stakes fights as well. Just fighting for this real estate property. Saifa gets knocked down somewhere in the corner here as EVOS still saves their lives by just hunkering down in the corner and waiting out the initial onslaught. You can see Trap barely alive already, taking out so much damage. Gets a top up here, trying to break into the building. And somewhere in the corner, Team Apex Gaming does already get eliminated here. Loud waiting patiently on the outer side here. Like it or not, EVOS and Aurora are gonna have to vacate the premises. Now the glue wall's been, I think, destroyed. They're coming into the area. EVOS forced to move back as well.
A smart reposition here by Loud. To put a great distance between themselves and the chaos that they almost encountered between EVOS and Aurora. Now leaving the battle between the Malaysian and the Indonesian squad. And the shots from afar, AGL putting the pressure onto both Aurora and EVOS. Riptide Rhythm breaking down the defenses. Azrael sneaky, but he saw the Riptide Rhythm and quickly stepped away from the window. Ray, on the other hand, not doing that. AGL getting a couple of tags in. Aingot, the Moco tagging him up already. And it looks like he will sneak away. Ray, on the other hand, will not get the pleasure of doing so. Axel's gonna get caught out. Riptide Rhythm again putting on so much of pressure, taking advantage of this tight little compound. And Aurora again will get snuffed out early.
You is doing great, just really catching people in the mid of the rotations as well. Now EVOS, only Aim God is alive, gonna hunker down the corner as Loud is gonna work their magic onto GD. Aim God rushing through, but for the other side there's gonna be a massive Nyx and Trap doing a lot of magic, but GD pressuring them, and AGAL also wants to join in on that fight. GD rushing forward, and now right in the nick of time, you have AGAL finding the last possible member from EVOS, not able to survive, so Aim God down and out.
Yeah, that's it for EVOS. AGL spotted them out and they were just tracking them all the way through. And now Gun Dynasty trying to take on the Brazilians, but the interference from the Thai squad. AGL long range away and almost no cover at all except their glue walls. This is going to be trouble if a Skylar is in the hands of either Gun Dynasty or Loud. And they'll quickly take some cover behind the boulder as well as these trees. Great rotation, great defense from the Thai squad.
AGL being very patient here, stuck behind a rock, but definitely not a hard place yet. But now as GD wants to take away this real estate from Loud, cannot do so.
Oh,
what a nade! Nice damage onto Trap, but no more than that.
Beautifully played here by Latam. Understanding the angles perfectly. Trying to make use of the utilities instead of taking a straightforward fight up against Loud, who do have the positional advantage in that sequence. Shiru, though, caught in hand, looking for the flank, trying to play a little bit of pressure on AGAL to take AGL out of the equation here before they have to deal with Brazil. And AGL understands the little bit of a pinch that they are in, trying to close the distance down to take the positional advantage away from GD as the circle forces them closer in.
Shiro is just trying to really just come into the area, can go for this backstab. AGL does try to collapse forward, but the amount of pressure that Loud is putting on them is incredible. The glue walls are just immediately destroyed. GD cannot come close and come into the compound at all. Do fall, David, good one onto him as well. And Shiro, his position finally seen, forced to move back here. David putting in that damage to AGL, a quick reposition forward, and they are going to collapse. AGL cannot move forward.
What a beautiful rotation, man. That's perfection out of Thailand, perfection out of AGAL. But now, how do you deal with this chaos? Gun Dynasty have been pushed outside. They are at a disadvantage at this point of time. But when the circle starts closing on in, it's going to be trouble. Where will the zone move? Who does it favor? And Trap, what a nade. David taken out, but the time turner is active on their side. They didn't waste it earlier on, and that allows them to pick up their rusher instantly.
And it's really good.
One more.
Cycling! Nice shot and a knockdown coming in from Saifa. skill. Great work coming through here. Loud still has the upper hand advantage in terms of positioning. AGL, HP chunking down. The damage comes through, and Loud, all they have to do is just rush forward, and they're completely surrounded from every single angle. And Loud, once again, a booyah!
Second booyah of the day for Brazil. And they are not messing around. Got pushed down a tad bit. The performance at Purgatory, not the best. At Solara, it was decent. But this is gonna get them right back in contention for the #1 spot for sure. AGL definitely gonna be in the race for the top 3 here after a back-to-back performance. We saw them pick up a massive number of eliminations off of Purgatory, and they have gotten in towards that final circle here at Nextera with the exact same performance. Great play, I have to say, from both teams.
You know what's really impressive about AGL? The fact that in the beginning of the game, they're all around the map. We come to them finally after seeing those initial fights. Suddenly like, what? They already have 6 eliminations? Silent but deadly, but definitely loud toward the end as well. It felt like a bait and switch because GD was the one that had a compound, I would say, advantage in the beginning.
Yeah, and this was where it all came crumbling down for AGL. They went in, they took the house as their defensive compound. What they were not expecting was the play out of Gun Dynasty. And the play out of Gun Dynasty wouldn't have been forced if it wasn't for Loud. Loud started tossing those grenades at them. Gun Dynasty had to make a decision, and the only decision they could make was take the fight up against AGL. And they played that perfectly, rushing straight at them. And again, I've always mentioned how David 444 is one of the most lethal rushes out there. And he took the fight straight up against them with the Mag 7, demanding a lot of points in that house, and he got it for their side. But towards the end, it just wasn't enough. AGL stood their ground really well with the defense, but they had to lose 2 players in that sequence as well, and Loud with the advantage just walked away with it towards the end. It's not always about the most aggressive. Sometimes it's about who understands the final circle better.
Yeah, you have the eliminations. You have to find that I would say balance, right?
Yeah.
Between getting to that last few points with those placements, plus also getting those eliminations as well. And AGL has, I would say AGL, Loud, Buram United have really good, I would say, grasp on being able to do all of this coming into the game. I think what's really fun to see as well is just the fact that for AGL, they know how to do the bait and switch, they know how to go for zone control, but I have to say that for Loud just now, they were just doubling down on that real estate. They know that they had the height advantage, they know that they can just really kind of keep out GD from their area and force GD and AGL to go for that fight, and all they have to do is just clean up house.
Yeah, and it's been very impressive to see this Brazilian squad so far, because yes, it wasn't a very aggressive Purgatory game, but if you look at their positioning placement in all 4 games so far has been phenomenal. We're going to take a quick short break now. When we come back, the final 2 games of the day.
break out the drums because Brazil is showing up. 2 booyahs today for Loud, and my gosh, Neptune, this squad is consistent as heck.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, imagine 2 booyahs and 3 times on the top 3 out of 4 games. And this is just something that we don't expect to see, especially in day number 1 out of this kind of competition. Most of the time in this level of competition, there's a lot of stealing of those booyahs. There's a lot of stealing of those numbers as well in terms of elimination. So Loud is just doing quite well in positioning themselves and making sure that they are not out there being gunned down.
Yeah, and of course, Loud is so much better tactically when we compare to the other teams. They have the patience, they have the drive. Again, it's something so refreshing to see. But then again, it's a Brazil team. Are we even that surprised?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Brazil has been one of that contender that has been a bane when it comes to like a battle of Southeast Asia and Brazil and also other regions being introduced. And with the more regions in here being put in the mix, like they have that elements of surprise because the focus would be on the newcomers and they will be most of the target. And we were seeing that at the bottom leaderboard.
Yeah, we definitely were. I mean, I was going to be looking at the match standings right here. GD being able to put up some points as well. Out of all these squads, AG, how about that with those 27 points?
27 points, 18 elimination points, and I gotta hand it down to Do and Saifa. They're doing so well. This is exactly the teamwork that I actually wanted to see from EFOS Divine because as an Indonesian, of course, I do hope that they can learn from the best. And honestly, I think that game, it really showcased the ability of Do and the capability that he has to lead the team towards victory.
Honestly, I thought AGAL was going to take the booyah in that last match. Their positioning in the bottom of building, I thought, oh, surely they have this. Surely they've got this. But no, of course, you know, Loud's just sitting on top in the way that they were they're able to accelerate and take more of positioning in the zone. It was exceptional. And I know, Neptune, you got something to say about that, don't you? Like, yeah, let's get Loud.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's more of what they can do in terms of the number. Again, getting a booyah will add up for your total points, but elimination is at some point at this stage of the competition is even more important because you have to bring that much to pull yourself at the top of the leaderboard, and booyah is something that is reserved for the team, especially with the champion rush condition towards the grand finals.
And I think looking at the overall standing, something that I'm really aware is that it is so scary for EFOS Divine in the very beginning of the competition. I mean, we started off really shaky, but looking at it now, we have 84 points and then 50 kills. That is not bad at all, even though we only have 1 booyah secured right now. I think what I said at the beginning of the show might come true. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to keep repeating it, but I do think there's a huge chance for EFOS Divine to maintain this position and actually be, I don't know, the next one to go to the next stage.
And the one thing that we were talking about earlier is that sponge between those teams towards the top. And it's starting to get even more and more. Once we see the overall, you get a chance to see exactly what I'm talking about in regards to those teams at the top, just making an even bigger gap to some of the other squads. Now, one thing I know has been sticking out besides the top squads, right? We got to go to PDX. I mean, I was talking about earlier in regards to Tag. That's a squad that needed to be able to step it up. They have since then, since we've mentioned it. I know you were looking at PDX, Lace.
Yeah, see, I'm looking at Paradox, and look, they're not sitting pretty on the top of the leaderboard, okay? You know, we're talking about the Louds and the AGLs. I feel like there's 2 games going on at the moment. We've got like the AGLs, the Louds, EVOS, you know, kind of having their own scuffles in the top of the leaderboard. And when you move further down, the Tags, we got Paradox down there. I know Paradox had an accelerating run against Tag, but unfortunately fell like a little bit short in that match there. And it just seems like they're just not making the best decisions for their team. They managed to sort of get split. But when we were looking more into that final zone, Paradox, it was probably the first time I actually saw them group up and were able to put more eliminations on the board, and that's what we need to see from them. So I don't really know what's happening like in and amongst the early fights and stuff for them, but that was probably the best performance we have seen from them. But they are, you know, not being able to get those eliminations and those placement points on the board.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, the first few games, they're not that aggressive, and the signature of Paradox Gaming is that the signature of Paradox Gaming coming from their regionals is that aggressive team. Like from Africa Africa. They managed to clutch it towards the end and getting that qualifier on the EWC, and it's more of the elimination. So this is one thing that we were expecting at get-go. There's a lot of teams who want to show up strong, especially if they are new to this contention.
Yep.
But for Paradox Gaming, they need that time to recover. But what I'm worried about is if that time is running out, because again, that's already 4 games and you only have 2 more for this group.
Yeah, and speaking of trying to come off as strong, courageous, again, I think
Thank you. Thanks, girl.
Then we gotta add gorgeous then, girl, because you are drop dead gorgeous. Okay, anyways, speaking of courage, of course, we have to also talk about Gun Dynasty again, because finishing at top 3, it's just so amazing. It's making me feel like I need to know more about this LATAM team. I mean, that is just crazy. They are now at the 5th position of the overall standing. 69 points, 23 plays, and then I'm seeing 46 kills. That is amazingly huge for them, Neptune.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, from the first and the last game, they managed to get 20 plus on elimination. Yeah. It was a little bit slow though on that second game, and towards that third. I think it's because of the challenge they have on that game number 2 or the match number 2. Thus, they didn't get that much on the point. But I'm really looking forward to them to catapult themselves a little bit higher in this point right now, because they're very close against BattleRoyale United.
Yes, I'm about to say something that I might regret, but right now, I actually enjoy watching Gun Dynasty more than BattleRoyale United Esports.
Oh.
I enjoy them
Clip that.
so much. It's crazy. Like, I found a new love today.
What's making you enjoy it so much? Because remember, BattleRoyale, even though you didn't get a chance to talk about them earlier, they did end up picking up that one booyah.
Yes, they did, but I think it's just about time for Gun Dynasty. I mean, you saw it on the 4th game. They were so amazing. And again, the courage that they have and the strength to back it up, it's just so amazing to see.
Yeah, I guess the difference between the gameplay of Gun Dynasty is in the beginning of the game, they show up.
Yes.
That's where more the hype is coming from. And compared to what we've seen in BattleRoyale United Esports, again, the signature is you're invisible in the first half, then to the second half, that's where you get all those elimination. But at some point, they're surprised. I'm pretty sure they're counting how many opponents that they have in front of them towards the end. And with 7 or 8 teams against you, you couldn't, or BattleRoyale United couldn't really bring that fire and catch up with the numbers. But it's a good thing that they did get that booyah.
Yeah, and right now we're looking at this squads that they need to wake up, especially when we're going to be going into the final 2 games of Group A. Keep in mind, for everybody watching at home, you're saying, wait, final 2 games? No, we still got 6 more from Group B coming up. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But I mean, from some of the other squads that we're watching, we saw the Pakistan team, right? They're towards the bottom. They need to do something, because right now, the top 4 squads, the cutoff is at 70 points. And that's not going to stop. That's just going to keep going because of the consistency, Conchita, that we're currently seeing out of these squads. What can we see out of those bottom squads in the last 2 matches? Because they need to wake up.
Yes, they do need to wake up. Unfortunately, I'm not really familiar with the way the Pakistani teams play, but what I see from their performance today is that there's a gap of, capability that apparently they still have against the other team. And that is something that I hope they can catch up as soon as possible, because obviously being on the bottom 2 is not so ideal. Looking at it, it's still quite a climb that they need to do, but yeah, keeping my fingers crossed.
And then you have Aurora. Aurora is currently 40 points. I'm sorry I have to do it to you.
I won't mention their name anymore.
You can talk about them, but just don't mention their name.
Yeah.
From that squad, I mean, you were talking about having eliminations earlier on. They only have 19 eliminations so far. We've seen squads being able to get almost that in just 1 match.
I think what Aurora Game is finding right now is a balance of, because they failed in the first game. Yeah, I mean,
it's okay.
I'm thinking it's my fault, but they failed in the first few games. But since they couldn't bring the elimination, they couldn't bring the fire, so they're going back to the basic. Go for survivability, trying to balance it out, elimination and placement point. And that's why they're trying something different. Just go and try to catch up, or go for catch up on the placement point. Once they get the groove of how to find the final circle, then they can get those elimination.
Yeah, what I've been noticing is that every time they go into an altercation or try to take a fight, they come out as the losing team. It's down to 1 player, then they're going to have to make that revive and try and do that. So I do believe that, yeah, if they can continue that survivability, because eliminations will come in the end, okay? As long as you can make your rotation, you get to that final zone, the elims will come. So hopefully we can see that sort of progress into the next games, because they slightly started doing it in that final match, but the first couple of matches, every time I saw Aurora fight, it was them out, and it's not working for them. So they definitely need to adapt and change, because mechanically they're gifted, but they're not making these decisions correctly.
Yeah, I so agree, because individually they're great players, but somehow when it comes to the teamwork, something just isn't working. There is something that they not to change. I mean, it's like someone needs to step up, I guess, and be the role model for them. Yeah. No.
I might step out.
I'm sorry, man. I'm going to target you for this one. Yeah.
No need to do that. I mean, in regards to eliminations, one squad that has been stepping up is Team Apex Gaming. They have been able to put up those elims. At the beginning of the day, they were struggling a lot. Even Lucifer, one of our casters, is going to be coming for Group B. He was saying they're slow starters. He was actually expecting them to do better in the second day.
Yeah.
But you can't be mad. Honestly, Neptune, you cannot be mad at the way that this squad has now been able to put up those eliminations.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's more of elimination geared for Team Apex Gaming.
It's the complete opposite, right?
Complete opposite of what we're going for earlier. Like placement point, they like no regards of placement point. All they have to do is early on the get-go, they want to get all those eliminations in, and at some point for teams, they're treating it as a 50-50. Like it's a double-edged sword. But for Team Apex Gaming, they want to bring down the sword against the opponent. Whether they lose, I think they can carry over those eliminations in the following round. The risk is they're losing the balance of finding the final circle. And again, there's still importance of that booyah. Probably not this point of this stage, but if you're really catching up in numbers, you have to do well on both.
Yeah, because 29 elimination points is not bad at all. I mean, from what we see out of the 4th games that we have just watched, Apex really is trying to fix the mistake they have on the first game. And yeah, I think things are quite looking up for them right now.
You can see they got fans right now here in the arena live from Paris. This is Free Fire at EWC. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going into the last 2 matches of Group A. Can those bottom squads step it up like we've been wanting to see? Or is it just going to be too little, too late in this last 2 matches before we go into tomorrow? AJ, Tash Bunny, take it away.
Thank you very much, Seven. Man, it has been an exciting one here for sure. We expected Nextera to deliver, and Nextera did exactly that. 121 eliminations in that lobby. It was explosive end to end. But now we head on into Kalahari. We head on into the map where the snipers usually rule. Let's see exactly which sniper stands tall by the end of this.
It's always very fun, right? I think we've already kind of pinpointed which players we want to see.
Yeah.
We saw it coming in from Moshi. We saw it coming in from Rasha as well. Some of the 2 hard hitters for this particular game. And now that this is actually our first Kalahari of the day, I'm wondering if it's going to be a slower start, or will the momentum of that fast, aggressive starts keep going all the way till the very end of this Group A day?
Demon's Pride currently at the very bottom of our leaderboard. Not in the right spot, if you ask me. Taking the fight up early at Refinery against Loud. AGL Cypher being cheeky as well to check out exactly what's going on at Refinery. So that shows a potential intention of AGL wanting to rotate in towards this high platform later on. DRS, Team Apex Gaming, Tech. This is going to be a tad bit crowded. Command post only usually has 1 team commanding it. This time you've got 3 vying for that spot.
You know, looking at the most damage and also most elims as well, right? You're seeing a majority of the players coming in for, I think, most eliminations. I think on top of Rasha, you also have both Dew and Cypher as well, which actually sets a precedent on how aggressive and how much, I think, AGL prioritizes these eliminations.
Sahil Jat is in a tricky position here. He does have the flank, but he cannot back up the rest of his team members just yet. Shoto! Gonna get caught out here by Blade. The caught up close and personal, plus the electrotherapy, giving Blade the extra advantage in that battle. Sahil Jat's finally going to show up. And that's just the wrong timing. He drops a little bit of a present here for Tech as he quickly tries to back away. But a quick recap here as well for Demon's Pride up against Loud earlier on. The time turner actually saving BZP a little bit of extra time, but Jazzy only could get that knock off of that engagement, sending top 16 running away from the compound. Demon's Pride again starting off on the back foot here, but the recovery was solid through those revives.
TEC just now looks like they had the upper hand in that fight, and now DRS has decided to join in on this fight. And DRS has been scary today in terms of positioning and even fights here. It's Wolfen that will be the first one to fall as the rest of TEC waits in the wings. Nejat as well will be picked off somewhere else, and now Buram United also here joining in that fight. It is hectic over here at command post as well, as Moshi finally finds a final nail in the coffin to a member of TEC.
Yeah, if command post wasn't already crowded, here comes Buriram jumping into the fray as well, looking to be the third party in the situation. DRS gonna shut down the remaining players on the side of TEC, one after the other, but Buriram, as mentioned, is still in here. Locked down by the thrill of battle now. Takuri, big advantage, but it looks like he's not gonna be able to walk away from much. Pratik knocked down once again. And the recovery is going to be slow here from the side of DRS as they continuously are pressured by Buriram Takuri. Jonah finds him with the VSK, and Strowex far away from the rest of the battle, but will Buriram be able to snuff him out? He's got the stealth bites, which is about to run out, and he gets away in the nick of time. And perhaps this is going to be the final survivor here on the side of DRS that brings them right back in, but he has to play this one slow because Loud is right in front of him.
And Barrows as well. Oh no, he is the one to go down here somehow. Ben is just doing such a great job of being able to fight him in the end. Top 16 will be found out finally by GD here. It's just such an unlucky situation as Shiro quickly brought back into the game in this situation. And I think that in so many of these fights as well, we see one team having the upper hand situation, and then suddenly the rest of the collapse coming in from so many teams. We start to see a systematic way for most of these teams trying to bring themselves back into the game. And Cypher, nasty shot coming in, and he's just gonna bleed out here.
Yeah, Benel is definitely one of the super flex players out there. He is the Swiss Army knife of the GD squad and Gun Dynasty. Just showing everyone that they're just not here to fill up a slot. They are here to rip away the championship. And if they keep this up, they sure as hell are going to be able to do that. First of all, getting into the grand finals is looking like it's going to be an easy journey for Gun Dynasty. But it looks like at Bayfront, we've got a little bit more of a tense situation as two Southeast Asian squads take on each other in a battle. Falcons versus EVOS Divine.
EVOS Divine in this situation, you just gotta wait things out. You just gotta find a window of opportunity to bring your team back into the game. I'm not too sure if Aim God is being marked right now is the question. Because there hasn't really been too much of movement from the rest of the teams as well. Now, you look at TEC, they've come back into the game. It started off really well for them in the early fights, but then the collapse coming in. I think the possibility of third parties today have been incredible for so many teams. We see it happening from so many different angles. And for Falcons, they want to try and check this fight against TAG.
A crucial rotation here from Aim God, looking to bring the squad of EVOS back into play. If they get eliminated now, being overtaken by AGL and Loud is a no-brainer. The players on the side of Falcons, on the other hand, on their rotation, they spot out TAG, Team Apex Gaming, in a little bit of a trouble. Riptide Rhythm's going to be breaking down the defense as Iljot can't drive away. Wolven stuck. Time Turner is on his side, and he needs to hope and pray that Falcons make a mistake here, but the valiant dash of Opina is just going to put him in a little bit of a pickle, and now it's all up to KD God. He's got coins to revive the squad twice around, but can he get to a vending machine in time?
Yeah, it's just really scary right now. You have no clue or idea where exactly anyone can be. And granted, this map is huge. Everyone has a bit of an area. The high grounds are looking good as well. There we go, EVOS back into the game as
nice.
AimGod finds a way in here. As for the rest of the team, the reposition is going to be incredibly hard. They just take a lot of damage. Benel, oh my gosh, nasty shot coming in from multiple angles. The Swiss Army knife for the team. Not only is he sharp, but also is he diligent. He revives and he kills as well.
But Nell, you monster! But now in a 1v1 up against Rahat, can you get the hit? David and Vega down on the ground already. But Benel looking like he wants to shine on his own in this situation. Doesn't have much of a choice, but Barros shows up in his radar as well. And Benel making the right move here to disengage from that situation. Rahat can deal with Barros, the player from the side of AGAL. Gun Dynasty in a little bit of a pickle, and Benel once again dropping back to see if he can save the squad, but the pickups are going to be solid here from Shiru. And with the stealth bites, Benel's going to get out of that sticky situation, keeping Gun Dynasty definitely in the driver's seat here for the day.
Oh yeah, KD got in trouble. Takes a bit of chip damage, but nothing more than that. The Falcons are hungry and they really want these kills. Forced to reposition, drops down to the ground, but Unfire is refilling that space that's been left behind. KD got a lot of damage taken from the util as well. He is barely alive. Forced to go in the open, and Unfire should find him in the end. Knocks him down. The inhaler should keep him alive for some time. Sajak cannot do more than that. And the Falcons are looking to hunt down the last few players. Wolven in the sky, but the shots for Kiroro are just nasty.
Wolven, the escape plan failed, but he did manage to pull in a final second revive for Team Apex Gaming. That's going to be their insurance policy for the time. Falcons, on the other hand, they found that one to be a little bit too easy based on the position of the TAG players, but Shoto just shining right before he got taken down. KD God bringing Wolven right back in. The recovery play is already in motion for Team Apex Gaming.
Falcons doing great in terms of reposition. How they collapse is just so scary to see, especially if you're caught out here alone here. Now, Falcons, nice position here, fairly safe away from the rest of the teams, but they have to rotate eventually as TEC, despite losing so many players early, they are also very slippery, still very much in the game. Knocked down, Rahat does find Jonah in exchange, but Wasana wants to avenge his teammates.
And he'll be able to do that with a valiant dash. Phenomenally done. Timed perfectly. Captain Jonas out of the equation, but Buriram have got the vending machine on their side. Get high once again as usual on the recovery plays. Moshi, M82B looking for Nejad. Can he pull the final strike to take TEC out of the lobby early here? He focuses towards the right instead as AGAL shows up on the radar of Buriram, and that is the saving grace for TEC, who managed to pull in at least one revive to stay in play.
Yeah, Kutush gets knocked down somewhere in that process as well here. As the Falcons come through, I think there should be fairly clear to go into that until they hit Bayfront, because TAG is waiting there right now. And I have to say, TAG had so many close calls today. Shoto got knocked out, I think, twice already, but they're slippery.
Big advantage on the airdrop here. No other teams aiming for it. Falcons get a freebie advantage, rotating towards it, finding nobody there. So great in terms of decision making, as well as a little bit of luck on the side of the EWC 24 champs. And it's only Apex in their way as they will try to get into Bayfront in a little. Can the Indian squad punish the champions of EWC 24, or will they get punished instead? The battle between Buriram and AGAL still continues, as both squads need to get into the next zone. And Jonah on the revive with the Car 98, punishing Barros, which means the front liner out of the equation. A little bit of an extra advantage for the side of Buriram, and AGAL does not want to stay and play. They use the launcher to get themselves out of that sticky situation, far away from Buriram.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good tactical decision as well. You're taking up too much damage already. Buriram United was in a great position, just really overwhelmed them as well. And I think if anything, if AGL can find a good position, they are the type of team that if they're prepared for it, they can take these fights and just completely dominate so many different areas. Now, Buriram United will follow suit here, coming into the safer zone as well. The southern side underneath the circle is looking scary. Loud is there, EVOS is there, TEC coming through, DP on the wings as well. And it's going to be really nasty. I love where Loud has put himself. Look at this sniper. Buriram United don't know.
The trigger discipline there, making sure he doesn't give away his position, which is a prime one. He wants to maintain the bird's eye view, stay out of trouble, and then strike when it's truly needed. But for how long are you going to stay undetected up there? Loud definitely has a big advantage for this next circle. And Southeast Asia battling each other to find the next circle for themselves. This time it's going to be Falcons versus AGAL. The shot is there. Aurora versus Gun Dynasty. Aurora, you cannot take this fight. Team Apex Gaming interfering as well. Car 98 perfect for Katie God. Azrael sprayed down to the ground. Jun looking for the recovery here. Will be the distraction as he gets clipped down by the thrill of battle as well. Nothing much that Aurora can do in this situation up against EVOS as well as Gun Dynasty.
Azrael is barely alive right now, and I think the rest of the teams here know that, so they want to try and go in for this collapse. GD is close by as well. Aim got marking them, making sure they don't come close. Both teams are being so cautious of one another, but Loud decides to jump in here. Aurora might be crunched.
Close to 13 minutes, 11 squads still alive and kicking. Things are about to get very messy. Pandemonium about to break out here on the battlefield if we don't start thinning down these numbers. Loud with a phenomenal rotation has been able to keep themselves safe for the time being. Good glue walls pulled out, timely manner. Not having to waste a lot of those med kits on unnecessary recoveries. EVOS, Loud, Aurora in a tight little spot, but they've got the advantage for the next circle. They can keep an eye on the rest of the competition.
Yeah, he even has an idea that someone is coming through as well. Gonna try and break it as the rest of the teams here. Loud at the bottom side, Aurora on the top side. If Aurora were to jump out, they're gonna fall straight into Loud's arms as well. A lot of damage coming in from Ray. A lot of, I think, a lot of pressure coming in from GD. So no one is really in the green. If anything, anyone is out here for grabs. It's an FFA area, free for all, for the first person that pops out their head. And everyone very cautious. And over to our Bayfront as well. The same thing is happening because TAG, you have Falcons coming through, watching straight for to attack. And AGAL, you know them. You see them fighting. They're going to try and third party you.
Yeah, but still gate kept by Team Apex Gaming. And he's just trying to avoid the engagement with the Indian squad as much as possible. But will India take advantage of the situation? If they want to battle, they have to take it now. But as I say that, Falcons dropping on in. Team Apex Gaming holding their fort strong here. Pina trying to break down the defenses, finds an opening, and with the Punisher takes down Shoto. A deadly shot, but the follow-up is slow. Team Apex Gaming again, barricading all of those windows, trying to keep Pina out of their way. And it looks like the players of Gun Dynasty will spot out this battle between the two, trying to play third party from that high ground.
Yeah, and it's just really annoying to be dealing with all of this as well. KD got this with the damage. Even Pina out in the open. Caught! Limit does find one. Wolvin eliminated as well.
Oh.
Forced out in the open. What can you do? You stay inside. You eat damage from the util. And now for GD, all they have to do is just pick them off one by one in the middle of those rotations.
Gun Dynasty, the biggest winner in that equation. And Team Apex Gaming, they survive the ambush by Falcons. Not somehow, that's how. Beautiful play of Gun Dynasty. And Gun Dynasty doesn't care exactly who's in front of them. They just want these points. And yet again, Gun Dynasty taking the fight up against Team Apex Gaming. But this time, they do not manage to defend themselves. LATAM just too strong. And Gun Dynasty, from being the third party to the predators in that equation, and Team Apex Gaming had nothing left in the gas tank.
They have such good timing and such insane awareness. Now AGAL, because they're at the lower side here, they have to wait through for this first fight to happen. And finally, the stalemate is broken. DP now in the open out and just fighting. PDX as well in the same situation.
Paradox.
Top 16, taken one already.
This is not an equal battle. Paradox can be outgunned here by Gun Dynasty. The only difference maker is going to be the ambush by AGAL. They take the timing right. Benel, super low. It's the lightning zone that gives them the extra bit of advantage as well. And EVOS has showed up out of nowhere. And Gun Dynasty, like the third party equation that they pulled off, they get shut down. Aurora makes their way out of the lobby a little bit too early once again. Gun Dynasty looking for the recovery. But Nell and David, no vending machines around them. And the shutdown by Cypher off of that Mag 7 is perfect. Gun Dynasty loses yet another. And Paradox still alive and kicking through all of that.
And it is hectic here as Burma United completely want to crunch down Loud, and they do just that. Moshi knocked down already. Wasana coming coming close, keeping the team fairly alive and healthy. Here's PDX coming close, trying to take a little bit more space, but the high ground Buriram United has gives so much vantage.
This is the most eliminations we've seen out of Buriram so far, and AGAL is on fire as usual. The most they picked up was 18 eliminations at Nextera, and they want to break their own record here on day one's run. What a phenomenal day AGL is having for themselves, and two Thai squads in this final circle up against Gun Dynasty that stands no chance because of their numbers.
Yeah, GD only one player alive, not for long, but now will go down next year. And AGL on fire, crushes through here, kept away by those blue walls. Moshi almost getting clipped, finally does, goes down to Faros, and he's not done quite yet. Cypher finding great angles and positions here as Jonah puts in the damage from far away. It's hectic, Wasana jumping, trying to find a way against Cypher, but cannot do more than that.
The record for eliminations is 18, set by AG Global, but no booyah for them on that match. Buriram, on the other hand, looking to set the record for the day, and now it's a 1v1. The support up against the sniper, and the support player is stealthy on the front lines and deadly with the Mag 7. Buriram late to the party, but biggest on the numbers as they break the record set by AGAL.
Record-breaking and second booyah of the day. This team feels unstoppable. There's just so many things happening right now, but they're so, I would say, aware on how the positions are going to go, how the movement is going to be, and somehow they managed to find that last crucial kill at the very, very last possible timing.
It was Buriram that set the record for the highest points at Purgatory. 15 eliminations plus the booyah. But they got matched up with that. Problem was at Nextera, AGAL just could not walk away with the booyah. It was Loud that ruined their plans, walking away with the second booyah of the day for Brazil, and kept them from breaking the record of Buriram, and Buriram showing exactly why they are three-time world champs. Phenomenal play. Let's check out these replays as well, as Buriram pulled off that final battle sequence.
Honestly, I think that what's really exciting about this particular match was not just about Buriram United, but I think it's just more of like how they decided to just really double down in fights. Usually it's a bit more quiet by them early, right?
Yeah.
But this time around, you could feel like they're just starting to just get into the groove. They're starting to really feel themselves in this fight. Positioning-wise was also really good as well. They had so much control of that high ground.
I mean, the comms obviously just cool, calm, collected, not panicking in that situation at all. And get high XL, man. This guy is one of the most lethal supports out there on the battlefield, hands down. And when you've got a support player who can annihilate the squads, you really don't need to worry in a situation like that. A good reason why Buriram sets the record is because they are no strangers to it.
Yeah, I think it's also really exciting to think about how, you know, Buriram United approaches this game. Sometimes they're going a little bit more slow. They have a lot of pages in their playbook as well coming into this game. But I am really surprised at how, I would say, aggressive so many of these teams are starting from that get-go. I think everyone's starting to get really confident coming to the game. Even TEC, I would say, had a little bit more spark in them compared to the beginning of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been a great day for TEC. Managing to play a little bit of recovery on Kalahari was crucial for them. But, you know, it's just going to be enough to get them out of the danger zone. Not permanently just yet, because they've spent too much of time down in the bottom two. Now, we have got a little bit of a breather here for the casting desk. We are going to throw you guys onto a tad bit of a break. We'll catch up with you guys in a bit for Game 6 later, the final one for Group A.